Hello friends, good morning. I'm Dr. Shamila Lorenzo here speaking from Animal Academy, and today we are discussing on the topic the causes of Agalactia in dogs. Now first of all, what is Agalactia? Agalactia means no milk production, that is milk is not produced in dogs after delivery. Okay. Now, what are the causes of this no milk production, or what are the causes of Agalactia in dogs? Okay. Now, first of all, as you can see, there can be lot of types of, can be due to systemic diseases, due to mastitis, due to infections. Lot of cases can be there. The first important case which will show no milk production in dogs specifically after delivery is malnutrition. That is, we have to see if the dog is not given enough amount of food, or if the dog is not given enough amount of calories or nutrition is not sufficient to produce the milk, then in that case the milk will not be produced. Okay. Then second thing is that there can be heavy parasitic infection or parasite worms, burdened with heavy parasite worms such as roundworms. Suppose, as you can say that as I have discussed in my earlier topics or earlier videos, that the dog before breeding has to be dewormed. You can go to the pharmacies and ask for pet store and ask for deworming drug, or you can tell your veterinarian to prescribe. Usually albendazole is given, so it is a deworming drug. So it can be given at before breeding and also on the 40th day of the pregnancy. Why we give this on the 40th day of the pregnancy, or why we do this deworming, so that the infection, the worms should not be passed from the mother to the milk, to the pups. Okay. Also, this if the dog is not dewormed, so there will be the worms will not go out. They will not be excreted to the excreta, as a result of which there will be infestation of worms, and these worms will take all the nutrition, as a result of which the mother, the bitch, will not be able to produce the milk because of lack of nutrition. Okay. The third important point is dehydration. Now in this case, if the dog is not provided a good amount of water, especially after delivery, a good amount of water, fresh, clean water should be provided. The water can be lukewarm, water can be warm or cold water, but hot water should not be given. So whatever, the cold water, or it can be warm water, or it can be like lukewarm water, whatever the dog desires, the clean, fresh water should be given to the pups. Now this clean, fresh, not only clean, fresh water, you can give some other liquids also. Milk, okay, or some, you can see if the dog prefers to have some juices, the sugarcane juice is basically very good for milk production. So if sugarcane is available, and if the dog is preferring to have sugarcane juice, you can give sugarcane juice. So basically water and milk is provided. You can give some chicken soup for replenishment, so as to produce the milk, so it will have lot of nutrients in that, the soup. So dehydration should be avoided. So with the help of this milk, water, the dog can be rehydrated, and as a result of which which can help in the production of milk. Then the fourth important point is premature whelping, or you can say what is whelping? Delivery, or you can say premature delivery. What happens when a dog is what is that called as, if there is the dog delivery, the pregnancy of the dog is around 60 to 64 days, can go up to 67 days. Okay, maybe now due to hormonal imbalance, or maybe due to the stress, the dog has got the dog is delivering at the 30 days of pregnancy. So what happens, sufficient amount of hormones is not released to produce the milk. So if there is premature delivery, if there is delivery in 30 days, no correct amount of hormones is not produced to produce the milk, as a result of which there will be no milk production in the dogs. So that is with regard to premature delivery. Also, if there is stress, for example, the dog is very tired, hormonal imbalance, the dog is in pain during delivery, or it is the dog is not having a, like it is stress, somewhat it is suffering, it is stress, it thinks okay, it is very tired. This stress will also cause Agalactia in dogs. Also, the next important point is infected mammary glands. The mammary glands or the nipples can be infected. If there is infection, okay, in the mammary glands, or if there is blood in the milk, or if there is infection in the mammary glands, is also called as mastitis. So if there is blood or in the milk, or there is infection around the nipples, this will also prevent them from production of milk. Then the next important point is infected uterus. If the uterus of the dogs or the bitch is infected, maybe due to pus, then sometimes there can be pyometra, or some other infection can be there. So if there is pus or there is pyometra in the uterus, in such cases also there will be, if there is infection, then the milk will not be produced. The hormones will not be released. The milk will not be produced in the dogs, okay, or in the bitches. Then also failure to release the hormones. Now it is seen that during the delivery process, certain amount of hormones has to be released. For example, oxytocin and prolactin. This helps, oxytocin specifically helps to release the hormones. Now if the hormone, because this will help in the production of the, oxytocin will help in the production of the milk. Okay. Now if oxytocin and prolactin are in balance, then this will also hamper, they will not be able to produce the milk. So if the hormone is not released, oxytocin is not released or not present, if prolactin is not present, this will also cause Agalactia in dogs. Okay. The next one, in this case, now if there is no milk production in dogs, what should I do? Or there are several times questions like, what should I do if my dog has no milk? If my dog is not producing milk, what do I do? Usually what happens, an expectant bitch or expectant mother bitch usually produces a little amount of milk. There will be milk in the nipples. Okay, just before, little milk in the nipples, even before her puppies are born. But when the delivery process happens, there is release of a hormone called as oxytocin. Now this hormone is responsible for production of milk. Most dogs, if the diet is correct, and if fed with a nutritional diet or a balanced diet, nutritional balanced diet, then the dog will produce good amount of milk. Okay. Now if the dog does not produce the milk, then the first important factor is that to provide a good amount of liquid. The liquid you can either provide fresh water, You can provide chicken broth, you can provide milk. Now fresh water, it is very important to provide clean and fresh, ample amount of water. Water ad libitum should be provided, clean water ad libitum at all the times, so that which it helps in the production of milk. Now this water, as I told you earlier, can be made available in the terms of fresh water, cold water or warm water, but as per the liking of the bitch, but never give hot water. Okay, and you will see that once this water is given, the dog will be, or chicken broth is given. We can give even chicken broth, or you can give even milk. Now in the milk or in this water, you can put some calcium supplements or vitamin B complex supplements and given to the dog. Now if you are giving milk, in this milk you can put some again calcium supplements, milk supplements. You can put some sugar or glucose powder, or you can put even molasses, sugarcane molasses, or sugarcane juice, to make it sweet and to make it palatable. Not only that, it will be very nutritious. Okay, the next thing is that this is with regard to the first I said water, second I said milk. The third, you can provide chicken broth or chicken soup. Chicken broth, what you can do, you can take some chicken and boil, put some water in that, put some vegetables like carrot or spinach, cauliflower, and you make a nice broth out of it, or nice soup out of it, and you can give that liquid soup to your bitch. So this type of soup with chicken broth and lot of vegetables will provide nutrition to the lactating bitch, and it will produce good amount of milk. So I said either provide liquids means either fresh water, milk and chicken broth or chicken broth. Now chicken broth, because in the chicken broth there are a lot of extra nutrients. Also in chicken broth there is a lot of salt. This salt and extra nutrients will make the bitch very thirsty. Okay, so if the dog is thirsty, what happens? It will try to drink lot of water. So that in turn will increase. The chicken broth also provides nutrition. So it will increase the energy level in the dog. It will also enable the dog to drink lot of water or the liquids. So as a result of which the milk production will be increased. Okay. The next important step is that you can call your vet. Okay. Now when the vet comes, the vet will examine the dog. The vet will examine the bitch. It will see for the symptoms. What are the symptoms? Why is the dog not lactating? It will check if everything is okay, and but still the dog is not lactating, not giving milk. Then he will give injections such as oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormonal injection. It will let down the milk. Okay. So it will, I have seen a lot of farmers, when we go to them, they say, oh, the vet came to the farm and he gave an injection and then we could get milk suddenly. The cows were given injection, and there was, the cows gave the milk, or the milk was available in the udder within maybe half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour. So in the same, that is because the vets are given oxytocin. Okay. The same thing here. The vet will be giving oxytocin to the bitch so that it will help in the letting down of the milk in the mammary glands. Also, the veterinarian will give some, if there is calcium depletion or something like that, he will analyze, he will see he will do the blood check, maybe he'll do analysis, give intravenous injection of oxytocin, and also he may give the injection of calcium. Okay, Now this is the second point. The third point is that if you should try to nurse the pups, even if the milk is not coming out, try to nurse the pup. Go ahead and put the pups across the teats or mammary glands and try and see that the pups are nursed. Okay, this why we are telling the pups are nursed. The first milk of the mother is a very important milk because the milk contains colostrum, and the milk the first milk is called as colostrum, and this colostrum contains antibodies, and this colostrum, when we fed to the pups, the antibodies go to the pups and they become resistant to the diseases, various diseases. So that is why we say the first milk of a mother, maybe in human beings, maybe in bitches, here it is a bitch or a dog, or maybe in dairy cows, it is very important. And because the first milk, that is the colostrum, is full of antibodies, it acts as a defense mechanism, and so as to serve as a protection to the pups. Okay, because it contains antibodies. The colostrum contains antibodies, and this itself acts as a protection to the pups from the various diseases. Okay. The next question that people have asked me constantly is that how do I know if my dog is producing enough milk or not for her pups? Okay. Now, first important point is that if the dog is not producing enough milk, the first sign is that the pups will cry constantly. Okay. The pups will be hungry, because what happens? That a litter in human beings, they may produce 1 or 2 kids or maximum 3 kids or whatever. But in case of, I'm talking about in general, then in case of dogs, the litter size, that is, they can be 6 to 10 pups to 12 pups. So all the pups will not get equal amount of milk. Okay. So some may get, some may not get. So it depends. So if they do not get the milk, or there is no sufficient amount of milk available to the pups will be constantly crying. If the pups have had good amount of milk and they are happy, and then they will not make much noise. They will be satisfied and lying and playing with their other pups, or will be with the mother. But if it is constantly, the milk is not available, then the pups will feel very hungry, as a result of which they will be crying. So in that case, we have to feed the pup. The pup can be given the milk replacer, which I will tell you later on. Milk replacer, or it can be given with or you can buy a make a milk replacer or buy it from the pharmacy. Okay, from your pet store. And it can be, this milk replacer can be put in the feeding bottle. Take a small feeding bottle and at the nipple make a small, at the tip cut it and put the milk into it, put the milk replacer into it, close it, and then feed it to the pups. Okay, you can request your vet to give a demonstration of that. The next point is that if the pups are crying, as you said, if the sufficient amount of milk is not available, the pups will be constantly crying. That is the first symptom. That is, your bitch is not producing a sufficient amount of milk. Secondly, the pup will not gain weight. When the pup is born, immediately it is very mandatory or essential to weigh the weight of the pup so as to keep the weight gain records. Okay. Now, if the weight of the pup is maybe 1000 grams, okay, in a week, every week it should double. It should become 2000 grams. If it is 800 grams, it should, in a week's time, that is 7 days, it should become 1600 grams. Now, if the weight gain is not sufficient, or it is not, if 1000 grams was there at the birth weight during the birth of the pup, and suppose if he is only 1500 or 1600 in the second week, that means it is confirmed that it is not getting sufficient amount of milk. Okay, so these two important points, that is, it will be constantly crying and there will be no sufficient weight gain. So these two important points will confirm that your pups are not getting sufficient amount of milk from the beach, or the beach does not produce enough amount of milk to be provided to the pups. So in that case, what you can do, if the pups are not getting sufficient amount of milk, one can buy, as I said, buy a milk replacer from the market, from the pharmacy or from the pet store, and give it to the pups. Another option is that one can prepare a natural milk replacement. Now, in case of natural milk replacement, I will give you a formula. You have to take 1 cup goat's milk, 2 egg yolks, a cup of plain yogurt. Yogurt contains vitamin B complex. Okay, it will keep the gut bacteria good, and also 4 to 6 tablespoonful of sterile water. Take this all in a bowl, mix it, add little bit sugar, or you can add even sugar or brown sugar, but do not add in excess. It should be limited amount. Okay, because if you add in excess, it may cause diarrhea. So mix all that, and you should ensure that milk is very thin. When you add goat's milk, do not, if it is thick, if it is 6 tablespoonful, which is not sufficient, you can add even 2 tablespoonful extra. Mix it thoroughly and then put it in a bottle, in a feeding bottle. The feeding bottle, again, you can see for the kids, for the newborn babies, we give, for the kids, for the babies, we give feeding bottle. You can use that type of feeding bottle, and the nipple can be cut at the tip, and put the milk in that bottle, close it, and feed it to the pups. This is through the feeding bottle, and this can be fed every 3 hours for 3 weeks. Once it is reached in the 4th week, you can start the puppy food. Okay, so every 3 weeks for 3 hours for 3 weeks it can be given. Now sometimes I have seen a lot of people they don't intend to buy a feeding bottle. Instead, they will try to put a small tube and put milk through the tube. Oh, that is very dangerous. Do not try such methods, because it can choke the pup, and the pup can even die. Okay. So next thing is that when you are doing all this process, the mother is not able to produce sufficient milk, as you said. If the mother is not able to produce sufficient milk, you're preparing a milk replacement formula and you're giving it to the dogs. In that case also, you have to ensure that the beach is involved in this process. You have to make the beach come closer to the pups. Make the beach so that the pups are kept warm. Not only, and she should be able to rub the beach will rub the perineal area, so as to stimulate the defecation process, that is the urination process, so that, because when the perineal area is rubbed, it will stimulate the urine process in the pups, and also the passing of the stools in the pups. Okay, so that is also that you have to keep your dog you have to keep your beach very satisfied, very clean, very well. You should clean and disinfect the area. A cool place should be given, so that the beach should be happy, and also the pups should be happy with the mother. And why I am saying disinfect the area, because it can cause, if there is suppose if there are some stools, or there is some urine, and we are not willing to clean that area, then it can cause infection to the pups as well as to the mother. So one should ensure that area should be very cleaned, disinfected regularly, and a warm bedding. Put a warm bedding so that the pups can rest over there. And the bitch can also rest over there. Okay, dear friends, I have discussed today the topic on Agalactia, that is no milk production in dogs. I have told you what are the causes, what causes no milk production, what causes Agalactia in dogs. That is malnutrition, infestation of parasitic worms, dehydration, stress, premature whelping, infected mammary glands, infected uterus, failure to release the hormones like oxytocin or prolactin, and failure to respond to the hormones oxytocin and prolactin. The next one also I discuss, what should I do if my dog does not produce enough of milk. In that case, as I told you, we should provide either fresh water, milk, and or chicken broth. That is one thing. The next thing is that we should be able to call our vet. The vet will give the injection such as maybe calcium intravenously, or it will give oxytocin so as to release the milk. Also, that you have to try to have the pups nurse a little bit. Try to check, go ahead and take the pups near the mammary glands or near the nipples, so that to allow the pups to nurse. Okay. And why nursing is very important. The first milk, I have told you, the first milk is very important. It is called as colostrum because it has got antibodies, and these antibodies are passed on from the bitch to the mother through the lactation process. And as a result of which, because of these antibodies, the defense mechanism is built in the pups, and they will not be getting infections as early. This colostrum acts as a defense mechanism because it has got antibodies, a defense mechanism to the bacterial infections. The next also I said how do I know if my dog is not producing enough milk for her puppies? If the dog does not produce enough milk of the puppies, how do you know? I've told you that pups will be crying constantly if they are not giving, if the bitch is not able to provide sufficient amount of milk to the pups, or the pups are not able to get sufficient amount of milk, as a result of which the pups will be crying every time. They'll not be happy, they'll be irritated, they'll be hungry, as a result of which the body weight will not be, they will not get sufficient amount, they will not develop, and as the body weight will not be enough, or there'll be no because the body weight, if it is in the time of the delivery, if it is 1000 gram, after 1 week it should be 2000. It should double, the body weight should double every week. If the body weight does not double every week, and if the dog is constantly crying, that means there is something wrong. That is, the dog, your bitch is not able to produce sufficient amount of milk, or we can say that the pups are not able to get sufficient amount of milk from the bitch. So in that case, we have to start a milk replacer. The milk replacer, you can get it from the pharmacy, or you can try natural milk replacement. As I mentioned earlier, milk replacement, you can take formula. I have mentioned to you earlier, 1 cup of goat's milk, 2 egg yolks. You can give 4 to 6 ml of water, and 1 cup plain yogurt. You can add a little bit sugar, or you can add sugarcane juice or molasses, but jaggery you can add a bit, but do not make it, don't add too much of sugar, or do not add too much of jaggery. This may cause diarrhea in the pups, so as to avoid that, so add correct amount of sugar and put it in a feeding bottle. Cut the nipple, put it in the feeding bottle, make a small hole on the tip and feed it to the dogs, feed it to the pups. Okay, it can be fed, the bottle fed can be fed every 3 hours for about 3 weeks, and from the 4th week onwards we can give a puppy food. It should be, the milk should be stopped. You can give a puppy food. You can start with puppy food. But during the whole process, even if the mother is not able to give the milk, one should ensure that the bitch has got interaction with the pup. So one can provide a small cozy corner of the house, and we can keep a, like a soft bedding. Please ensure that the space is clean and disinfected. You can use some Dettol for disinfection over there, clean and disinfected. And also one should ensure that mother should interact. Why I'm saying mother should interact with the pups? So that it will ensure that the pups will be kept warm. The mother will rub the pups and it will, thus as a result of it, the pups will be kept warm. Not only that, the bitch will rub the perineal area, that is the stomach area, and as a result of which it will stimulate the urination process and urination process and defecation process. That is, the stools will go out easily and the urine will go out easily. Okay, that's all done, my friends, for today. Okay, so I hope you have gained much. Please like, share and subscribe. More updates in my next video. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.